Hey guys, welcome to episode 4 of our introduction to the Legends of Runeterra series. Today we're going to be going over a mid-range deck. So a mid-range deck is a deck we went over in the first video of our introduction series. For another general overview, it is a uh, midway between a big beefy hitter and a aggro deck. It is a middle of the pack, lots of 3, 4, 5, and possibly 6 big threatening minions to try to secure the board and push the advantage with a middle of the pack uh, board advantage. So one of my personal favorite mid-range decks is the Demacian Elite deck. So I think we'll go ahead and make one of those because one, I think it's one of the easier ones to make for beginners, and it is very good. I played it a lot in the preview patches, and I personally think it is very strong. Um, Plus, it might fill the niche of those that want to play a mostly mono deck. If you're familiar with the Magic the Gathering mono decks, because it is mostly Demacian cards. For the majority, there are a lot of Demacian cards. There are no other elites in other regions, so all of the elites are in Demacia. You will put in some other colors because having strictly one color is just limiting yourself. So unlike the last video, this deck, there will be some changes made depending on personal preference, but this deck will be competitive at a higher level of play. It won't be, by far the best Elite Demacian deck, but it will be good. You can most definitely play this deck and have a great time and a very strong win percent. So first, we're just gonna lock in the champions like we did last video. And personally, for me, I only want Garen. You can add in like Lucian or a Fiora for a secondary win condition, but I personally feel, in my uh, you know experience, I think just Garen is fine. But feel free to add a Fiora if you want to try to mix in like a Fiora package into your deck. But I feel like the card space we have is limited, so I am only going to add Garen personally. And now we want to look up elites because that is what this deck is going to be about. And there are a lot of elites, and there are a lot of spells that give elites, and etc. And the reason we are going with elites is because there's a lot of elite synergy, especially with the Battlesmith. So if you have the Battlesmith on your field, whenever you summon elite, it just gets +1/+1. So if you have a Battlesmith on board, your 1 mana 2/2 Cithri of Cloudfield becomes a 1 mana 3/3, and you can most likely see how that is very good. So we're going to add 3 Battlesmiths because it is a central part of the deck itself. We're going to add 3 Vanguard Defenders and 3 Cithrias of Cloudfield, and that will just fully cover our early game. If we end up with a Battlesmith and Cithria in our hand on turn 1, you are looking great. Beyond that, we have more freedom. And there will be some non-elite cards that we're adding in. So beyond just the basic, I think these are like pretty much guaranteed to be in your deck. Yeah, you could like cut 1 Vanguard Defender or cut 1 Cithria for other cards, but I think that this is perfectly reasonable. So now we get to decide. Since we're going mostly Demacian, I think Vanguard Bannerman is very strong. Once you hit the Allegiance, it's a 4 mana 4/4, which is pretty good. And it buffs all your allies by another +1/+1. So your 1 mana Cithria 3/3 with Battlesmith will now become a 1 mana 4/4 once it was on the field, and your Battlesmith gets +1/+1 to make it stick on the board easier. So I think Vanguard Bannerman is very good. I'm going to put 2 in for now, but we may put in 3 later. Vanguard Squire is another very good choice. Whenever you summon Elite, it reduces the cost of the card. So at present without playing any elites while it's in your hand, it is a 4-mana 3/3, which is lackluster. A 3-mana 3/3 is okay. I'd play a 3-mana 3/3. A 2-mana 3/3 is phenomenal, especially with all the buffs we're getting. And below that is just pure value. So I'm going to add 2 Vanguard Squires, and Vanguard Redeemer is when I'm summoned, draw a unit if an ally died this round. So if you trade off, or they attack and you block and one of your minions dies, and then you play Vanguard Redeemer, you draw another unit from your deck, which is most likely going to be an elite to try to refill your pressure on the board. So Vanguard Redeemer is very good, but this card is only very good when one of your minions dies. So I would not add 3, and you could potentially add 0. I'm going to add 2 because I think it's okay. I think that's a fine thing to do. And there's many other elites as well. Reinforcements it's a spell that gives you 2 3/3s and then grants all elites +1/+1. But the 3/3s then become 4/4s with the +1/+1. So it's more like an 8-mana 2 4/4s. Buff all your elites by +1/+1. So very good. Vanguard Cavalry, very strong 5-mana card with tough. We'll add 2 of those. Silverwing Lancer, I think again very good. Challenger 5/4 and creates an elite when it dies. We'll have 2 of those. Cythria is pretty good as well. Again, we're adding mostly elites because that's what we're going for. So we'll add 2 of those as well. I feel like 3s of these might clunk up your hand. But, you know, if you just wanted to run 1 Cythria and you really wanted another Swiftwing Lancer, by all means. See, Vanguard Firstblade, on the other hand, is okay, but I personally don't like it too much. If it can stick and get going, it becomes very good. But you have, when you play it, and attack has to be on your attack round. So if you just play it and you have a Battlesmith, it's a 3/3. It's a 4-mana 3/3. We literally just went over. It's meh. Like, you probably don't want to play a 4-mana 3/3. But once it attacks, it becomes a 5/5, and then attacks again a 7/7. But we have to remember that we don't get attack every round unless Garen is leveled up. And if Garen's leveled up, then Vanguard Firstblade becomes much better. But until Garen's leveled up, this card's kind of mediocre. So I personally feel like this card I won't be adding. But, you know, feel free if you think that you want to try out the card, you really like it. Silverwing Vanguard is pretty good, but only good if you have a Battlesmith on board. Because they become 3/2s, and you get 2 of them, and they both have Challenger. So I think that's okay, but I won't be adding that personally. Vanguard Sergeant, get a 4 Demacian while it's, when you play it. It will most likely be a 4/4 for 3, so I think we'll take 2 or possibly 3 of those. I think 2 is fine for now. And now we got our elite package, you know, all of our elites that we want. Now we're going to go add in some spells and some other cards to help us through the game. So what do you think we need? Go ahead and pause and think about, hey, what do you think we will need? And then I will tell you the answer. That's enough time. If you paused, we need spells because we have none. So we're going to look up spells and see what we can work with here. Mobilize, I said in my Demacian card review video that this card is disgusting. And it is not as disgusting as it used to be, because it used to be 2 mana, but it is still very good if you have a lot of minions in your hand. It becomes a quote free play mana-wise if you have 3 units in your hand. But I think 3 is a little worse than 2, obviously. Nerfed by a 50% mana. So On Guard, on the other hand, is very good. I think this card's very slept on. So once you have a very solid board presence and you play On Guard, every single one of your minions gains Challenger for the round. So you get to force them to block every single one of your minions the way you like. And it is very, very good. This is, I would add this in every Elite Demacian deck, but um, it's fine if you don't add one. So we can go a board clear Judgment if we choose to go that route. I don't think it's bad. I will add 2 personally because it is the freest Garen level up known to mankind, and most of our minions will be fairly strong. We're not running too many, if any, weak minions. So, like, the worst we're going to get is a 2/2. And that is if everything is, you know, falling apart. The worst we're getting is a 2/2. Our average will probably be a 4/4 or higher. So doing 4 to everything before battle even begins is very good. And Garen, I've struck twice level up condition is fully completed by Judgment if they are blocked with 2 minions. But we don't have any removal right now other than Judgment, which is 8 mana AoE. So we could go Detain, which I'm going to add 2 of because of the pesky Tryndamirs and other really, really annoying cards that you can't deal with if they just sit on the back. So Detain, I think, is very, very good in this deck. Back-to-back could be okay. I personally don't run back-to-back too often. Relentless Pursuit, free attack round, so this could secure you a win if, everything aligned properly. So I'm going to add 2 Relentless Pursuits as well. In my last Demacian Elite deck, I did not run Relentless Pursuit, but I'm starting to grow on it. Maybe we won't add Relentless Pursuit because we have Garen. Okay, well, if you guys don't want Relentless Pursuit, you can take it out, but I think I'll give it a try. And now we have only Demacian cards. We have 34 Demacian cards. And now we want to look to another region to try to supplement our gameplay here. So we have a lot of minions. If we look at the deck stats, we have 8 spells and 26 units, right? So we're going to want spells, and we're going to want things to protect our units. So I personally am going to go to Ionia and grab 3 denies, because I think deny is great. And we have 3 other cards that we can pick from Ionia. We don't have to just grab spells, but I think the spells are very good. We actually could go get Redoubled Valor, now that I think about it. Redoubled Valor is a full heal on an ally and then double its power and health. So it's not terrible. You could use it on Vanguard Cavalry to make it a 10/10 tough, or a Garen, make it a 10/10 regeneration. That's gonna have to get hard removed somehow. So I think Redoubled Valor is pretty good. We're gonna go back to Ionia and try to pick something that will maybe be a shock factor, so people won't see it coming. Because those are people really underestimate the shock value of running a card people don't think you'll have. Will of Ionia is a very good card for another hard removal for 4 mana. I don't think we need Kinku Lifeblade or any of those weaker cards. Dawn and Dusk, probably not. Scaled Snapper, probably not. Key Guardian could be okay. Or we could run the... Oh, there's a button. We could run 1 more copy of another card that we want, because we have lots of 2s. So we could run another Vanguard Squire or a Vanguard Bannerman. Maybe a Vanguard Bannerman would be good. Vanguard. Really? Why is this not searching? Hello? Okay, well, little issue there. Vanguard Bannerman. And so that would be our 40. And of course, like every deck video I'm going to make, there are going to be some cards where you're going to play and you're going to be like, oh, that card didn't perform as well as I thought it was. I want this, I want that. I wanted more Ionian cards, you know, cut a Vanguard Bannerman, cut your Redoubled Valors, you know, it's all up to you. I personally feel that this deck, the only thing that I might change is Relentless Pursuit at the very end of it all, because Garen just might carry us through that. And for 3 mana, it's good, but I feel like we could do better. So our curve, we need more 4 manas, potentially. So we could cut the 2 Relentless Pursuit and look up the 4 mana cards that are powerful for our deck. So Laurent Bladekeeper actually isn't too bad because it will buff up one of our weaker minions to a more mid-rangey threat. So you could add 2 Laurent Bladekeepers even though it itself is not an elite. Or 2 Mobilize. I'm going to try out Mobilize again because we have a lot of units. I hope it will be okay, but that's the whole thing about making a deck. You have to try out things and see if it is powerful for you. I remember in the first preview patch, I thought Mobilize was the most busted thing known to mankind. It was like transferring my spell mana into unit mana, and really no one else played it that I saw, that I played against at least. And then it got nerfed, and so I was like, I was right. So I'm going to try out Mobilize again. I think that'll be fine. And then if it doesn't work out, we cut it and put something else in. That is the whole thing about making a deck. It will never be perfect. So our curve is looking pretty good. We could have more 4 mana cards, but a lot of our 3 mana cards, we have 5 of them as our spells. So our spell mana will be used greater effect. So I think that's fine. So we have a lot of mid-game threats. Vanguard Cavalry, Vanguard Bannerman makes all of our other weaker cards into bigger threats. Battlesmith is by far probably the best card in this deck. On guard to force blocks and lower their board while building our board up. If one of our things do eventually dies, Vanguard Redeemer will give us another unit from our deck. Vanguard Sergeant gives us a 6 mana +3/+3 spell for our whole board. Very strong, solid deck here. And what are the 4 epics? What are our epics? We have 2 Cythrias and 2 Judgment. Judgment might be... those are all pretty good. I was going to see if this was a very budget deck, but apparently it's not. So, but still, very good mid-range deck here. I would play this without any problems and have a good time. So we're going to go mid-range Elite Demacia. And this would be a mid-range deck, and I will make it public to post in the description for everyone. So this is what we ended up with, and I hope the thought process of going into making a mid-range deck works along with any other region that you want to make a mid-range deck. You can make a mid-range deck in pretty much any region. I just chose to do the Elite Demacian because it's the most simple to explain and build. So for a very beginner, you know, mid-range deck, this will suit you perfectly, and it's not difficult to build yourself. So thanks for watching. If you have any recommendations or criticisms, please leave them in the comments. And if you want the next video to be either a combo deck or a control deck, please tell me which one you prefer, and I will make that one first. Thank you guys, and I will see you guys later.
The look in your eyes is like a glitter ball. The feel of your skin is like a liquid gold. Don't you know that you